Afternoon, how you doing? So we are at the 14th of December. Crazy how fast it's all gone. Today we're going to do, I picked, I feel like I've got a hair hanging off there somewhere. We picked a project and I've called it Charming Little Project. Mainly because I had no idea what I was going to do, and I decided I was either going to use a mini charm or a charm pack for whatever I was going to do. So I've chosen a mini charm. A lot of you have a look at the mini charms in there. Hi Linda, hiya Anne, how you doing? They look at the mini charms in the box and they say, oh, aren't they lovely, but I don't know what to do with them. So this is just one project, which if you start thinking about this project, will lead to another project, lead to another project, and lead to another project. So I thought that we would, it's another pouch. It's one of those things. There are 100 pouch things out there. I don't know whether you've ever seen our Pocket to Go, which sits on your belt. It's about that big. And it sits on your belt and you can put all your like dog treats and things like that in there. We've got a pattern. This is done on the same principle, but it ends up this big. Now this bag I use to keep my cam snaps in. So you know how big your cam snap boxes are. So you can see that it's quite a big pouch. I actually use an A4 piece of paper as my template for this, so it keeps all my tools and all my cam snaps in the same place. And I used beautiful fabric because it was something that I was going to use a lot. So, and it's got a front pocket as well, which I keep all the extra bits in. Alright, so that is what we're making today, but we're going to use a little charm pack to do it. So a charm pack, once it's all sewn together, is just a piece of fabric, so you can make anything that you like from them. We generally go with a mini charm pack. Is about the size of a cushion front or a project wallet. A charm pack is lap quilt or cot quilt. Jelly roll is single bed size. If all you do is sew those strips together in a jelly roll race, you'll get a topper for a single bed. And layer cake, if all you do is sew them together, you'll get a topper for a double bed. So they just get bigger depending on what you add to it. All right, so we're going to go with a mini charm, and we're going to make one of them. They're ideal then for pencil cases or makeup bags, or if you put like a laminated one inside, they could be a wash bag. They're a handy size. Do you know what I mean? They're not too small and they're not huge or anything. They're just a handy size. So let's see who's there. Hiya Melba, Leslie, Kate, Marilyn. How are you all? Are you okay? It's sunny and blue skies out there now. When we were coming back, we went out for our works do last night. We went for ramen, which was really cool. It was lovely. But when we were coming back, it was clear night and we thought frost. Got up this morning, it was dismal and rainy and wet. It was horrible. So the blue sky is a surprise. In fact, depending on where I sit, the sun is quite bright through the blinds. So what's it called? The advent calendar we're going to do when I go back to the shop, okay? Because there's some fabrics that came in today that we want to give you, show you and everything. So we decided that we would show you when I went back. Okay, so advent calendar there. Right, so without further ado, thanks Kate, I am feeling much better. I had to go to work on Tuesday because I wanted to go out on Wednesday night, and if you don't go to school you can't go out to play, so I went to school. Right, so this is the template for the pocket to go. All right, so you're going to cut, we're going to use this as my template, but we're just going to mark a more of a circle than that. How about that? That's a bit better. It just gives it a little bit more interest on the bottom, doesn't it? So I'm just going to take my A4 piece of paper, and I'm just going to round off my corners. Okay, so I never know which scissors to use in Sarah's for the paper. I don't think it matters. Those will do. I don't like to use good scissors. I have been trained. So I'm just going to cut a corner. Cut the corners off this. And that now becomes my template. Now you can see here that there's a dotted line along here. And this is where this bit goes. Alright? That's where you separate it with the zip. So I am going to use, if I've done one, I thought I'd done one. Oh, maybe I haven't done one. We're going to use one of the lines, okay, which will be 5. I don't know what I'm doing here. I know, it's 4 by 5. So one of those is going to go as the top piece, okay, if that makes sense. So it's not going to be quite this. We're just going to go with the size of this. So just use that for reference. Ignore that. I think with this one, I did use this size and cut it out of one piece of fabric. We're just going to use this as our template. So ignore me. All right. Just rewind that last little bit. So I've already sewn the back. I've sewn all of those together. Now, if you saw Sarah's project on Tuesday, we're going to use the same method. It just so happens that we went with the same type of project of squares together. So I'm going to sew these in 2s, chain piece them, and we're going to go from there. Okay. So we're going to go over to the sewing machine, and we've got the 1/4 inch foot on, which is lovely. And I'm just going to put them together and chain piece them through. Okay, so I'm going along here. So people could be asking me if I'm ready for Christmas. No, I have no idea what I am doing. I'm trying to come up with ideas for some people still. So we'll eventually get there. I haven't even got my Christmas decorations up, which seems a shame, but my Christmas decorations were the least of my worries on Sunday when I was lying in bed dying. So they're all down from the attic. So that's my plan this weekend. At some point, that and write a pattern. So we're going in here, like this. So I've sewn all of those together. Oh, hang on, I've left 2 behind. Let's do those 2 or they're not going to work. So I've used 40 squares, okay. We've used 40 squares, and I've put them in 4 by 5. Now I have 2 left over, which if you want to put as what they called the things on the end, zipper tabs, then you could use those. I haven't. My zip doesn't look the best. Right, we're going that way, so I want come up with the colours now. I don't know where they all are. Perhaps it was, so it's 4 rows. There we go, 4 rows. So that's going to go in. I tried to do it so that they went in some sort of order, but I think I don't know where they are now. I can't see how they've gone now. So I'm just going to put them in. So we're doing them in 4 rows of 5. So we're going to need to put 2 together. See, that should be a turquoise. I'm doing it that way. What would come after the green? So it's supposed to go in a row, and I've mixed them all up now. So that would be green. Let's do it like that. That would be green there. So I need a turquoise and a white, yeah. And then that would be a green. There we go, the green and that, and then that would be that, and that would be there, and this would go like that. So there's blues going down there, turquoisey that way, and then that would be white there, turquoise there. Cool. Okay, so I'm now going to sew these 2 together, and those 2 together, and those 2 together. Okay, let's go and do that. Hiya Ali, yes, I am feeling much better, thank you very much. I'm still a bit prone to coughing, but that's okay. I'm alright as long as I make tenor ladies my friend. It all works out fine. So I'm hoping that I've got these the right way round now. We're sewing all these into our 2s. You know, the tenor lady problem is a lifelong struggle. A lifelong struggle. It is an old age struggle. And we're all have learned to embrace it. So what colour did we have on the end? We had that turquoisey colour, didn't we? So that one would go there, and that one there. So I'm going to sew these 2 together. So like Sarah pointed out on Tuesday, you don't need to do the ironing until the end. You're just going to make sure that you put your what are they called, seam allowances go in the right way. So we're going to actually put them onto our, straight onto the ones that I've already sewn, because that way I'm not going to make a mistake. So we're going to add 2 of these pieces that I've just sewn. We're going to add onto here. Okay. And we're going to keep 1 row ready to go for our top piece. All right, and then we're going to cut our linings. Okay, so we're going to go along here. So, I mean, it's pretty easy. You just take a piece of fabric, a size that you want, and then follow the method, and it will all, it all works. This can be done. In fact, we use this method. Remember, I did a the over the shoulder one for going on holiday. We did a 1 o'clock on it, and it sort of sits. It can sit under your coat. It's flat enough to sit under your coat. Use the same method for that. Just find it such an easy method to adapt. Oh. That's a bit far away from the end of the things, but we're getting there. Oh, sugar. I've moved that out of the way. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that, because I moved it out the way. Right, that needs to be underneath, and that's going that way. Okay, so I'm going to redo that. There we go. And we're coming that way and this way. I'm trying to line them all up as I'm going along, like this. There we go. Right, so we have a 4x4 here. Okay. Now I'm going to want the 5, aren't I, on the top? Oh, this is annoying. I've done it the wrong way round. We're going to have to do it so that it's going to sit up that way. Because Sarah's not thought about it. Sarah's gone off half-cocked again. We're going to put the zip up here. Okay? The front zip, we're going to put it here so that it's going to sit that way. It's not going to matter, but I had it in my head we were going that way. So, no worries. We can do it. We can do it. So, we're now going to iron this. So, we're going to iron it so that our seams go one way. Camera. Here we go. Right, so I'll do that again. I have, instead of sewing it into 5s, I wanted my thingy to go that way, so that my zip would run along here and along there, along the 5. But the way that I've sewn it, without unpicking a whole line, we're going to turn it, and we're going to go that way. All right, so we're going to go that way, and then this piece is going to sit on there, and my zip is going to go there. So it's going to be a long pocket, which will be fine. It'll be okay. You could put a Kindle in it, or a reader. I don't think it's big enough for an iPad, but you could add extras and do this and pad it out. I'm not actually going to put any padding in this, so you could pad it out and do it as a as an iPad cover. See, these things, they're limited, they're unlimited as to what you can use them for, just by changing the size of what you're using. Okay, so that's our bottom, and this is going to be our top piece. So we now have our back, our front, so our back, our front, That's right, our front, like that. And now we need to do the linings. So what we're going to do is, I'm going to put, I've got green lining for one and pink lining for another. So we're just going to stick the iron on that a minute. And on there. It's very quick when you do it right. Okay, so what we're making, we are making a little pouch, really quick pouch. So we're making this, Emmy, we're making this, okay, 2-zipped pouch, which is quite big, but we're using mini charms, okay, so I've used 40 mini charms in this. Right, I now need to, we're going to trim. I've stood up for this, okay, we're just going to trim off. Sarah's starting to craft like I do. It's all getting shoved to one side. Okay, so I have taken off my edge, my folded edge, and I am going to put my largest piece on the top. Okay, and I've lined it up with the side that I've just cut. Now, you can see I'm a little bit out, but I think that's my ironing this time rather than my sewing. So we're just going to line this up, and I'm going to trim off on that side, turn it and trim it off. Now I'm going with the size of my, I'm going to line up one of my thick lines with my sewing line, and then make sure that I've got all of it in. You can see I'm bulging out there, so I'm going to trim so that I have a straight line. I'm going to turn, and I'm going to do the same on this side, and I'm going to go to where I need to go there. I'm going to trim there. Okay, so I now have 4 pieces which are now the right size. Okay, now I'm going to put green on my inside bit, so we're doing it that way round. So I'm actually going to line that one up, my top piece, like that. Did I throw it? Oh, there it is. You can see the ruler then. And I'm going to measure and cut this like that. So I now have a piece of lining fabric that is the same size as my top piece, and I have a bit of lining fabric which is almost the same size as my bottom fabric. So what we're going to do is, I'm assuming my sewing is different on that one. I'm going to trim that down to fit, and hope that I've done this all right. Otherwise, this is going to be another project that you'll be guessing at. So, right. So now we're going to put a zip in the front bit. Okay. So we are going to lay my outer bottom, right, on my right side out, lay there. Yeah, and then I'm going to put this right sides together with that. All right, so I've put my outer, my smaller piece of outer, the bottom piece, right side up. My lining fabric is going to go right sides down. Okay, and I'm going to take my zip, and I'm going to put my zip between them, and I'm going to put it right side down on top of my outer fabric. Okay, now you can see my zip is an old scrappy little zip that was in my stash, but it was the right blue. So it's come off something else. It's either come out of mother-in-law's stash of zips, but for these little things, I didn't think it mattered. I did have a lime green one. You can see as well, my zips are very long. I had either very short zips, which would fit perfectly actually if I was going this way round. They would have been the perfect size, but there you go. You can't have everything, can you? Right, so back over to the machine. We are now going to hope that I can do this with this foot. Okay, so we're gonna line it up because I don't want to go into changing the foot. So we're going to line all this up and keep going. So I'm making sure. Now you can pin this. Oh, look at it. It's all squiffed. I should have not trimmed it at all, should I? Let's get that. Let's see. Let's go in there. The best thing to do when you have the time and you're at home is always baste your zip on. You're not dealing with, you wouldn't be dealing with your pins, and you're not dealing with it moving in any way. Okay, so by basting it with just a couple of running stitches along it, it means that it's going to stay where you want it and not move like this has, because it's not fitting at all now. Did I turn it when I put it on? Anyway, never mind. If it comes to it, what we'll do is we will we'll have to trim them all down. Okay, so we have we've put the zip on one side. Okay, so this now I can fold out an iron like that. Like that. Okay, and you can fold it out and iron it if you wanted to. You could then top stitch it down, but you probably, I will top stitch it all in the end. So now you're going to do the same again with your outer piece. Now we want that to sit there. Okay, so that you're going to put your lining piece up, face up on your desk. You're going to put your zip face up on that, and then you're going to put your top fabric face up on the thing. Now I didn't trim this one off, and I haven't trimmed that off, so we're just going to try and centre it as best as possible, and we trim it all off together. Okay, so these two are the same width. I think a lot of it is to do with my ironing rather than my thing. So we're going to take that over and we're going to put the zip on. There we go. Ooh, a little fast there, Sarah Jane. So we're going along here and we're just putting the zip. So we've put your the lining fabric was face up on the desk. My zip was face up on the desk. And my outer fabric then went face up on the desk. Right, okay. So we've got like that. And okay, so I now have the front of my bag like that, okay, which they aren't quite lining up. If I was at home and dealing with it, I would have fiddled it around. Right, okay, we're going to do the back now. This is where I get confused. It's going to be back, and that's going to be lining. Sometimes with a project, it's always best to build it so that you know where you are. So that's going to be the lining of the pocket. So that's your back pocket. And this is your front pocket. So that's the back of the front pocket. And then you've got your lining and then that bit on the top. Like that. There's going to be a lot of trimming off, isn't there? So we've done this bit. So we now need to put the zip we're now going to trim so you're all around. You're going to sew all the way round. You're going to put this on here like that, and we're going to sew all the way round our pocket. Really is all different sizes, isn't it? Look at that. Right, so we're going to use the front as our, no we're not, we're going to use the back. I'm going to trim it, so trim it, and then you know what you're doing. So we're going to we've laid it so that your the back of your front pocket lining is at the back, and we're going to trim it all so that it all fits. Okay, so we're going to go with the bit that is least thingy, and we are going to make sure that our zip pull is on the other side. If we pin that, it's not going to move, is it? This was going to be a nice little quick video. Okay, so this goes on here and that goes on there, just like that. And this, I'm going to make sure that I have opened my zip, because otherwise we'll get into trouble, like. So I'm going to trim that one up. Up there. Okay, so to trim that up, I'm going to flip that because I could see that this was bigger on this side, like that. There we go. So I've trimmed it all down. Normally I'm a much better at keeping it all the same size. Right, okay. So now we're going to sew all the way round to hold all that together while we go on to the next bit. Okay? Okay. So we don't want it to be the whole seam allowance, so we're going to pick a point and come in so that I'm doing 1/8 of an inch. I'm going to go back over the zip just to make sure that it doesn't fall apart, and we're going all the way round. Now we haven't got to worry about the zip unit opening. Everything's moving because I haven't pinned it right. So this is one of those things, do as I say and not as I do. Oh, it's just moving that into line. Okay, so we're coming up to the zip. Okay. Okay, so we've now made our front pocket as a whole unit, okay, so that we can use that as one piece now. So this gets used as one whole piece, okay. So now we that's right. We're going to have leave it front up on our desk, and we're going to put our zip, our second zip. We're going to put face down on top, and we're going to take one of our lining pieces and place that on top like that. She says, looking at her pattern quickly, so all the way around. With your front pocket unit right side up on your work, so lay the second zip no. Check the way the zip opens so you lay down so both open the same way. Line and back piece on top, sandwiching the zip as before, and repeat the process. Right, so I am right. We are now going to sew this to that. Coming off quite a bit now, Sarah. Obviously turned it. Right, so we are taking that and sewing the zip on this one. Okay, so we're doing as we did before. Now normally you would use a zip foot. If you've seen me put a zip in before, on my machine, I like to use a normal foot and move my my needle over to the left, because I like there to be a bit of space between the edge and the zip. However, this is a little more than I would normally want. It's not brilliant. So we've got this far. Where are we? 3. Okay, and then you're going to so you're going to press that forward like this and bring your zip, so that now fits there. So you've got the back of the lining before now meets that, okay, like that. Now we should have done the top stitching on this one before I took it back, but I haven't. So we're going to top stitch this top stitch this down now. And you will see that you would probably do a better job of all this at home. So we now have a top zip on this side. Okay, so you're going to take your final outer back piece, ta-da, and lay it right side up on your work surface. Take your pocket unit with the 2 zips and place it zip face down onto the outer piece, and then place it zip face down on the outer piece. Line up this upper zip with the top edge of your lining piece. Take your lining back piece and put it on top. Right, so the idea is that we take our zip and we line everything up. As they're all different sizes, we're winging this. So you're going to do that, like that, and you'll put that on top. Okay, we will go through all of this just before I sew it all down, like that. Okay. So we're going to go back to the machine and just sew that down. Are you lot keeping up? Hiya Susan, how are you? Are you lot keeping up with me? And I'm thinking, yeah, well I could do that better. So we are just making sure everything stays lined up. And there we go. And we're going to fold all this out like this. Okay. So I'm going to fold this out and I'm going to press a line in there and then fold this bit out. There's so many colours going on in this, isn't there? Right, so I'm going to top stitch that now. I should have done it here, but I didn't, and it's too late now. I thought I could do it all in one go, but I can't, because if I did it now, I could do top stitch on there, and it wouldn't really matter. But that bit there, you'd never use the pocket. So I'm just going to put a top stitch in there, like that. So the top stitching, all it does is hold everything down and away from the zip. And I would normally do top stitching in a coordinating colour rather than just the white if you're making it posh like. Right, okay, so we've got that far. Now you have, let's move that out of the way. Now you have your front pocket there. Okay, you have a front pocket, and then when it's all put together, you're going to have a top pocket. Now you could put straps on this or anchors. If you put an anchor in, that would then all sort of, you can make it into a bag, a crossbody bag or something. Okay, right. So now we are going to trim all this down so that I know that it's all the same size before I start putting it all together. Why is that not the... I think that needs to go... Yeah, that's right. There we go. Right, so we want to make sure that everything is the right size. I don't know where Sarah's big long ruler is. There it is. Underneath all that. Right. So I've got a wonky zip, so I'm going to pick a am I on the right camera? Yeah. I'm going to pick a line on something. Make sure it's all lined up, and I'm going to trim it off. Okay, like that. Like that. I'm going to turn it round like that. Now we've gone from making an A4 size, which is what my plan was, to this, which is not quite as big as I was hoping, but it's still bigger than a pocket to go. So I'm going to line all that up. There we go. So all that should be right, like that. And then we turn it over. Everything sort of meets. Okay, we're going to use, I would then sew this using edge of foot, you know, so slightly bigger than a 1/4 inch, just to make sure that I caught everything in. We need lining together. You need to do lining together and fronts together, okay, front and backs together, and we're going to sew all the way around and then we're done. So I'm going to stick that in there and that in there and that in there. Yeah, like this. What is the time anyway? Oh shit. Right, okay, so this is going to be a quick one. When you're sewing zips, sew them in the way that they're going to bend. So for this one, it's going to be towards the it's going to be towards the lining, I think. I read this before we I came over, and it's not stuck. Okay. So we're going to sew these. So you want this, you want the zips to fold so that the seams go down towards your lining, because your zip's going to be outer. So we'll deal with that as we get to them. Honestly, once this is done, it's really quick. So you want to make sure that the zip is open. Make sure your zip is open, otherwise you can't turn it through. You don't want it that open. Otherwise I'm going to pull the zipper off the end. Right, so we're going to start here, sew all the way round and come back to here. Okay, right. We're nearly there, kids. Nearly there. Okay. So I'm going all the way round. I want bigger than a 1/4 inch. Okay. I want to make sure. So I'm like making sure that I have a good 1/4 inch at least. So I want my zip to fold that way. So that I'm folding it so the zip is towards, the zip folds down towards the lining. I'm sure that that's right. Just sew it all the way around. Now, if you use more than 1/4 inch, you know that if your sizings aren't quite right, you're going to catch all of it. There's nothing worse than getting to the end of a project and finding that you've missed a bit. You know, like on teddies and things. So we're going along here. And slower over the bumps. And we want to make sure that our zip is together and folded that way. No, folded that way, isn't it? The way it was. Like that. And make sure that they're together. Now I've gone over the zip twice so that it all it's a little bit stronger. Okay, and now we shall see how this turned out, shall we? Okay, so take the pins out. I was turning something out yesterday. I couldn't understand why it wouldn't turn, and it was because I'd left the pin in one bit. Right, so we have a gap at the bottom, which I can top stitch afterwards, and because I left the zip open, we can grab all of this. Now, probably one thing that I should have said was if you cut your corners without cutting your stitches, you'll get a neater corner, hopefully. So we're going in, we're going to pull all of this out. I'm going to keep my fingers crossed. Drum roll, please. Okay, so we're pulling this through like that. So you want to put your prodder in and make sure your pockets are pushed out, and hope that you've caught everything because you've got quite a few layers here. I do like things with layers, don't I? So going along here, I'm going late night shopping with my daughter this afternoon or tonight. I'm really looking forward to it. We're going to nab something to eat as well. And so push that corner out and that one. And then all this will fit in there. All neat and tidy, like. And there you have a bag. It's not quite as I intended in the beginning, but because one of the things that you could do is trim your zip back inside. I might go back in and do that. But you have your thing, pouch. Okay, how cool is that? And that's one use of charm packs for that, mini charm packs. So you've got your zip in the front, you've got a full pocket there for you to put stuff in the front, and then you have a zip in the back with a full, there's a whole hand and a bit in there to put things in. So it's a handy size zip. Now you could put, if you used smaller zips, I didn't bother, but if you put tabs on the end of here and you are left with 2 pieces of fabric, if you put tabs, I could have done that anyway, tabs on the end, this will sit out straighter because it'll all go into the seam allowance and it folds easier. But zips are not my forte, as much as I do them. A zippity-doo done zip on there might have worked. I suppose it would take away the need for this, or make it longer. There you go. There we are. There's a project that shouldn't have taken an hour, or an hour from the beginning. So there we go. So that's done. Hopefully you'll be able to find other uses for your mini squares as well. We'll come up with more in the new year. Perhaps we'll do a whole series on pre-cuts and what can you do with the pre-cut that's sitting, lurking in your drawer that you don't know what to do with. Okay, so I'll see you in about 10-15 minutes for the draw, the raffle. So I'm sure you'll all come back for that, and have a look at some new fabric, which is very pretty. And Ali, I'm sorry, but we're going to probably be taking your money off you again. See you later. Oh, the camera's gone. I'll see you later. Ta-ra.